It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. It will hurt. It will take time. It will require dedication. It will require sacrifice. But it's going to be worth it. There will be temptation, but I promise you, when you reach your goal, it's going to be worth it. Nobody can do it for you. You can only do it for yourself. Are you wondering what this is all about? Is this so very important? It's all about weight loss. Weight loss doesn't begin in the gym with a dumbbell. It begins in your head with a decision. This is so very important. This is so very serious, because excessive weight, in other words, obesity, has the wings of turbulence. It's associated with low self-esteem, poor body image, shame, depression, and, at times, suicide as well. That's the reason this brave lady, Nicole, wishes to share her story. She has a definite purpose for sharing her story. She wants other people to know that they're not alone. She wants people to know that those feelings, those stories that are stuffed so deep in their hearts, never to see the light of day, are indeed her feelings and her story as well. Let me now bring everything to light so that everybody benefits. If there are 3 words Nicole could choose to describe her journey with her weight, they'd be long, tumultuous, and exhausting. She's been overweight her whole life. There was a couple of years, around 2009 to 2011, when she used fat burners, exercise, and a healthy diet to lose 60 pounds. She woke up one morning in December of 2009, weighing 245 pounds, and something clicked in her. She worked hard, thanks to caffeine and fat burners, and got down to 185 pounds. Over the next 10 years or so, she'd gone on to gain 125 pounds. Eventually, this landed her in a doctor's office in October of 2018, weighing 310 pounds at 5 foot 4 inches, truly believing that she had to kill herself to be rid of her body. At 29, she was in a serious relationship with the love of her life, and she was desperate to turn her body into a healthy temple, deserved to be in order to grow babies one day. But she couldn't stop eating. No matter how badly she wanted to stop eating, she couldn't. She remembered saying that if there was a rehab for overeating, she would go for it without batting an eye. She just needed a month or so without any other option but to eat well in order to break the cycle. Her earliest memories, with Sears photos to prove it, include her with her round face and chubby cheeks. Her parents were overweight during most of her childhood, and while they did the absolute best with what they had, eating healthy and exercising just weren't part of that childhood. She remembers in high school, her friends would say they were going to the gym with their parents. That was such a foreign concept for her that she barely understood it. Then she had gone to college, and she recalled her suite mates keen on using the campus gym. She went with them just to walk on the treadmill because she didn't even know her way around the gym. Running, sweating, jamming out to their music. It was all so very foreign to her. Her parents, unfortunately, didn't say to themselves, "Let's make sure our daughter doesn't grow up obese." They were no doubt amazing parents. There was an abundance of love and affection in their home. She could see now that her parents were battling their own demons of food that she could identify in the present scenario. She has a series of incredibly painful memories from her childhood that at that time, no doubt, she laughed off. But now, as she records them down, she feels the agony. These memories, which were always embedded at a subconscious level, tortured her by propping up at the conscious level. She recalled once they were in New Jersey at her aunt's house when she was about 7 years old, and her uncle looked at her as she proceeded to grab another cookie. He puffed out his cheeks, furrowed his brow, and motioned with his hands, shaking his head in utter disapproval. How she felt, she couldn't express at that age. Today, she knows that it was a shock, mixed with a deep embarrassment. She was a fat girl throughout. In elementary and middle school, the first thing other kids would choose to tease was her weight. "Why are you so loud, Nicole?" a boy in 5th grade asked her. "You can't be fat and loud. It doesn't work," he said categorically. At that moment, she was bound to show him and everyone else that she could be fat and loud as well. And in fact, she decided to be the loudest. At the age of 7, she was teased at a day camp by a few girls because she had the same pair of shorts in every color. They were the only ones that could fit her when she went shopping with her mom for the camp. The day camp should have been an exciting occasion for everyone, but it turned out to be the most depressing, embarrassing, and shameful one for Nicole. In middle and high school, she would talk on the phone for hours with boys after returning home. Nothing unusual for a teenager. The difference was heart-wrenching. When other girls were being asked, "Will you be my girlfriend?" or they move about in the hallways holding hands with their crushes, Nicole had to stand aloof because nobody wanted others to know that they had a crush on the fat girl. Craziest part of all these is that she wasn't even fat in high school. She was a chubby kid, but apart from that, she looked incredible in her senior prom dress. In middle school, she realized she had a good sense of humor. She wasn't good at sports or fine arts, but she had a wonderful gift. She could make people laugh. Her intellect would often tell her, "You're a fat girl. No one wants to be friendly with you." The laughter from her friends and those around her negated those feelings, and she enjoyed a sense of belongingness with her group, although momentarily. Even though she felt sad due to her weight, she was rather confident. Being overweight did predispose her for certain interactions with people, but it didn't make her life a dreaded nightmare. She accepted that she was overweight, and that made life much easier to get through and experience. Life was no doubt difficult and painful at times, but mostly she tried not to let her weight get her spirit down. After high school, she found herself living on the edge, intertwined with drugs and alcohol. That lifestyle lasted until 2012, when her parents gave her some tough love, and in turn ended up saving her life, and she put an end to it all. Her addiction ended up manifesting into an obsession and compulsion for eating. She found herself tipping the scales at a whopping 80 pounds heavier. In summer, she was at an amusement park with friends for the first time in years, and she didn't fit in the rides. She got onto a roller coaster and found that the straps wouldn't fit, and she had to gulp down the insult in front of hundreds of strangers. She laughed it off, but, oh goodness, was she dying inside. She proceeded to eat fried chicken until her stomach hurt for lunch that day, saying to her friends, "Well, it's not like I fit anyways." She went to Disney World at the age of 26 with her family, and based on her past experience with the rides, she began obsessively researching the width and diameter of all the seats in the rides. She recalled waiting in the line for rides with her brother and pleading to God, "Please, please let me fit." She would get on the rides and tell the attendants, "You can push me as hard as you can. I promise you, you won't hurt me." On one of the roller coasters, she had 3 people pushing down the lap bar, and she remembers tears welling up in her eyes because it hurt so badly. Despite the emotional and physical pain, she continued to eat. She couldn't stop. Every time she committed herself to meal prepping and exercising, the 5, 10, 20 pounds she would lose didn't stand a chance to the beats in her head. "You have so much weight to lose. 20 pounds is nothing." That would scroll through like a marquee on the opening night of a Broadway show. She'd then find herself ordering enough food for 3 people at McDonald's, sneaking the food into her bedroom and eating until her stomach hurt. What a vicious, exhausting, lonely cycle it was. This continued for 5.5 years. Nicole remembers the exact day when she turned to her boyfriend and said, "I need help. I'm going to eat myself to death." It was then that she really let the universe bring options before her. Her cousin, and also one of her friends, had recently undergone weight loss surgery, and her father was actually the one urging her to consult a surgeon. You see, her mother passed away in 2016. Her mother was actually the kind but firm voice of reason when it came to her weight. "Hey Nix, what's going on? I noticed your weight is climbing again. Do you want some help?" she often used to say, like her best friend. Her death impacted on her detrimental eating habits and weight gain. Her father's gentle and kind suggestion to consult a surgeon was as if trying to step in where her mother otherwise would have. Until she went to see this bariatric surgeon, she was scrolling through Instagram daily and cursing patients who had undergone weight loss surgery, whose bodies were transforming right before her eyes. "Must be nice to take the easy way out. Why don't you try hard work?" she would mumble, looking at the photos. She cringed, saying this now because those nasty thoughts and words she had were just a deep-seated envy and pain that she was carrying around. She subconsciously longed for the courage to make the decision to undergo weight loss surgery. She at last took a leap of faith and called the surgeon. The moment the informational seminar began that evening, back in October of 2018, she turned to her fiancé with tears in her eyes. She realized that this is what she had to do. The doctor kept talking about how this surgery was nothing more than a tool. He said, "If you don't commit to a new lifestyle, this will not work in the long term. Sure, you'll lose weight in the beginning, but the people who commit to a complete overhaul of their previous lives are the ones who succeed." She sobbed uncontrollably the moment the doctor told her that her insurance company has approved the expenses of the surgery. For the first time, she got a ray of hope that she didn't have to kill herself to be freed from this burden that was her weight, her obesity. She scheduled a whole bunch of pre-op appointments and set the date. On January 19, 2019, she had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, aka 80% of her stomach was removed. In the past year, since undergoing the surgery, she's lost 98 pounds and still counting. She's worked harder at this than anything else in her entire life. Look, it's changed everything. The weekly meal prep, the weighing and measuring of her food, and her regular exercising. Of course, she's also experienced dozens of what the weight loss community calls NSVs, or non-scale victories. She was able to go into a store and still shop, even if their sizes only go up to extra large. She has donated over $1,000 of clothing that no longer fit her to other women in need. She had her eyes on a winter coat last year that only went up to extra large. This winter, she bought it. Incredible, isn't it? She didn't have to ask for a seatbelt extender when she flew on a plane. Her heart jumped with joy when she could cross her legs. Hey, her feet and ankles didn't hurt. She was able to keep up with the kids for whom she worked as a nanny. She wasn't worried on her first day of nursing school, this September, thinking if she could fit into her desk. Can you believe it? She could walk in between people's chairs in a restaurant instead of having to map out her route as the host shows her to her table. She was always confident growing up, but this past year has brought something more to the table for her. What is it? Value. She started getting more value than she ever had before. Not because of her shrinking size, but because she has fixed her mind into this and has successfully executed it. Now she proudly and confidently speaks on hard work, determination, exercise, healthy eating, and cooking, because she's a living example of everything that is recorded here. Does she fall short and mess up? You better believe she does. Does she go for weeks together without working out? Yes. Does she eat pasta? Yes. Candy? Yes. Ice cream, cake, bread, rice, etc., etc., etc. Yes, yes, yes. The thing that makes this weight loss journey different from all other methods that she had attempted to lose weight is no matter how badly she binges or messes up, she brings it back to the required level and continues with an added zest. Emotionally, this has proven to be the most tumultuous journey with weight for her. She realized that her eating is far more in disorder than she knew. She always knew that she was an overeater, that she had binging tendencies, but until she began to overhaul everything she previously knew, she didn't realize how much more of an emotional journey this would be. She still engages in binging when she lets her emotions get the best of her. A binge doesn't look like what it used to be before she underwent the surgery. Now, a binge is a state of mind, which is more in her thoughts than the amount of food she eats. Before surgery, a binge would be $25 and 6,000 calories of fast food in one sitting. Now, a binge is more like 3 chicken nuggets, or a handful of fries, or 2 bites of a cheeseburger. It's never a full packet of potato chips. One might say this isn't a binge, but when you only have 20% of your stomach left, please know that this amount of food pushes your stomach to its limits. This is something she's talking about and sharing with others. When she was considering this surgery, she knew that she had an unhealthy emotional relationship with food. What she didn't know was that the relationship was going to change when she had her stomach altered. What had happened was that the cycle was broken for her in the first few months following the surgery. She wasn't able to eat certain things while her stomach was healing, and even what she was able to ingest had to be incredibly small portions. The physical results of the weight flying off was a motivational tool for her, to keep learning, to keep prepping, to keep exploring her relationship with her food, her body, and her mindset. The tears that had streamed out of her eyes this past year have watered the ground she walks on. The sweat that had poured from her has also released all the emotional toxins from her body. The joy she felt is indescribable. She will be on this journey for the rest of her life. On a bad day, that seems saddening and overwhelming. Today is a good day, however, and she has a deep gratitude that swirls up under her ribcage because she will get to be on this journey for the rest of her life. How lucky she is that the stars align their positions favorably, and she was finally able to balance her emotional and physical health successfully. Can this getting rid of excessive weight possibly be so good? Guys, do you now realize bad things come to those who wait, and good things come to those who wait? Don't dig your grave with your own knife and fork. Please like, comment, and share. Join us and change lives. Pleased to have you around. Blessed we are to get connected with you.